All right. Let's get to it, gang. Good morning. Hello, Sammy. Good to be with you. Good to be back. I didn't have the Facebook Live because I was home yesterday. So did not have the Facebook Live, but we're back at it today. Hope you guys are doing good. Let me know where you're watching from. And if you have any questions about the forecast, just put it in that chat below and I will see it here on my monitor. All right, so we can walk through the entire forecast. All right, let's go ahead and jump in.
There you go.
Let's jump in and go full. Pretty nice day already. It's muggy. What's up, Rebecca? Thanks for checking in. Beech Grove. Michael's in Peru. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. This is Bedford. And looks good there. It's 75 already. It's 8:46 in the morning, so it's still running pretty stuffy so far here. This is on the south side. There's a or not south side, west side. 70 in Harding. And there was a crash there. Hey Anna, good morning. And then a view from our backyard right now. Pretty hazy out there, 75 degrees. Dew point is rough. It's in the low 70s this morning, so pretty uncomfortable to start off here for the morning. Sammy, I'll show you here in a second. I do think it's going to end up kind of riding up the entire East Coast, though. Should weaken a little bit as it does that, because I think it's going to go a little inland. But yeah, we'll show you that here in just a second. Mid 70s right now as we're approaching the 9 o'clock hour. So just pretty warm, but pretty humid. There's the big picture right now. Let me go. I'm going to go small box here. And what you can see is, I'll move this around. A couple of things here. Obviously, you've got low pressure here up in Illinois. Rain is staying to the north. We're in the warm sector. This whole area here is the warm and muggy sector. And then there is Debbie. The center of circulation is on the coastal Georgia area, getting ready to cross into South Carolina. Rebecca, Myrtle Beach is getting hit hard with a lot of rain right now. Some gusty winds too, but a lot of rain. Rainfall since, I don't know why that's not skipping for me. Two-day rainfall has exceeded a foot. And actually, there's been some locally higher amounts with 2 feet of snow. But Debbie, I know you were asking about Myrtle Beach. Last 2 days, they are now over a foot of rainfall. You can see Hilton Head there. And Myrtle Beach, kind of on the north end up there. But they're going to be getting more of that rain. So you can see down around the Bradenton area, Sarasota, those areas in white are probably 20 inches of rainfall. So it was really rough yesterday in terms of that rain. Now, this is what Sammy was asking earlier. This is the new forecast update for Debbie. 45 mile per hour winds now. I think it goes out to sea probably this afternoon, but then likely makes landfall just south of Myrtle Beach overnight. I don't think it's going to strengthen at all, so that's the good news. And then it's going to kind of slide up through the Carolinas, and then it'll eventually move into Virginia. I think it probably is going to be squarely over the nation's capital by Friday night, early Saturday morning. Goes right over New York City Saturday afternoon, and then early Sunday morning it's going to go right over Boston. So it's really going to hit all of these major hubs by Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Now, it's good news. It's going to be over the weekend, but I would anticipate maybe some travel delays if you are flying anywhere, even if you're not directly going into D.C., Newark, New York, or Boston. because obviously if you have any delays there, it has a trickle-down effect since those are some major hubs there. It does look like Atlanta is pretty much in the clear of anything too significant, so that is some good news there. Now, locally, hey Beth, good morning. Locally, mid and upper 70s across the Midwest, but I want to draw your attention to what's happening up north here, 50s. So very comfortable conditions, and even more important than that, look at the dew point temperatures. These are into the mid and upper 50s. So that's really dry air, and we're going to benefit from that by as early as later tonight with the passage of a cold front that's going to be moving through. Today's going to be hot, though. I got us at 92 at 5 o'clock. Feels like temperatures are going to be around 100 degrees, all right? So we hit 91 yesterday. It's going to be awfully close to what we experienced yesterday afternoon. We do have some storm chances coming our way. It does look amazing. Sammy, watch this. You're going to like this here. So futurecast as we go into the day today, I think the daytime hours are dry. That cold front eventually is going to work through our state. This is at 3 p.m. I think by around 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock, you're going to get some of these little isolated showers and thunderstorms. Not widespread. Few and far between. A lot of us are going to be dry. You could get a real heavy downpour. There is an outside chance that we could have some gusty wind potential. So maybe a severe thunderstorm warning or two around the area. Good morning, Charity. Around central and northern and eastern parts of the state. Again, wind is the only threat that we have with this. But I'm telling you guys, the payoff, you're going to feel it as early as tonight. Temperature should be in the mid-60s. It's going to be mostly cloudy. It's still going to be warm tomorrow, but it won't be as muggy. And then look at the trend here as we go into the day tomorrow. And I don't know why I don't have the actual planner in here for tomorrow. Actually, no significant heat index tomorrow. 78 will be our high for tomorrow. Dew points will be into the mid-60s. So it's still a little muggy, but it's not nearly as humid as what we had yesterday or what we expect for today. Michael, yes, exactly like today's weather pattern. Super hot yesterday. It's going to be super hot again this afternoon. Now, let me go back to Futurecast. What I was going to show you with the track of Debbie kind of riding up the East Coast, what ends up happening is everything kind of log jams from west to east until Debbie either weakens or moves out of here. So you can see that cold front just kind of died off. I think the end of the week is going to be quiet weather. We do have a pool of cooler temperatures, cooler air coming in for the weekend. So that's something that we can actually look forward to. By the weekend. I mean, low humidity. Look at those overnight lows back to the low 60s. Outlying areas will probably be in the 50s. We're near normal Thursday and Friday, so temperatures aren't too bad. And then the weekend, again, that reinforcing shot of Canadian air, we may not make it out of the 70s Saturday. We barely get there on 80 for the Colts home opener, preseason home opener. On Sunday, I've got it overnight lows in the upper 50s. Likely we'll carry that over into Monday as well. So some pretty comfortable conditions here up and coming. So if you haven't been a fan of this really high heat, hang in there. I think much of next week looks to be pretty comfortable. So some good news on the horizon there. So that's all I got for now. But I'm happy to take any questions that you guys may have. But it is a good looking forecast for sure. Has anybody gone out to the fair yet? My daughter lives in South Carolina. What's Debbie looking like right now? So Jake, I did a quick analysis of Debbie, but like while you're here, I'm going to go ahead and let's just go on the fly here. Let's talk about Debbie. It's kind of the big story right now. Throw the loop on. So pretty heavy rain right now. Thankfully, So they do have a tornado watch for the coast. It does include Myrtle Beach. There is a tornado warning right now. It is in North Carolina. It looks like it's just south of Wilmington. But there is a tornado watch box until, I guess they would have extended that, 5 p.m. They extended that till 5 o'clock. So, the winds, let me see if we can go to show you the wind gusts currently. It actually doesn't appear to be crazy high currently. Out to sea, it looks like some of the numbers are pretty rough. It's 40 miles per hour out to sea. Inland, though, the gusts aren't all that bad. It doesn't appear. So, in summary, you're probably going to be looking at, because we had some areas here in the purple. This is rainfall. This has been basically the biggest threat from Savannah to Charleston over the last 2 days. The purple, I mean, that's putting you in the 18-inch to 20-inch category in terms of rainfall. So it's been really rough. 15 inches of rainfall there on the coast, southwest of Charleston. So flooding is going to be a huge concern, especially closer to the coast. But even inland, they're anywhere between 1 to 3 inches of rain just south of Columbia. And unfortunately, I think Debbie's probably going to be an issue for South Carolina for the remainder of the day. The reason why, and I showed the track here earlier, but it's going to end up going due east, and then it's going to go a hard turn to the north and west by later this afternoon. So, I mean, that means that rain's going to still be around by tomorrow morning, and probably doesn't even clear South Carolina from what it's showing until, I mean, you can see how it just kind of moves up here. This line represents Tuesday afternoon. I mean, it's just chilling in South Carolina. So now the winds are going to weaken and all the other stuff, but the rain is going to be pretty immense. So yeah. So that's kind of where we stand there. Next week, are the temperatures going to go up along with the humidity? So, glad you asked. We'll, let me show you the projections that we like to look at here. So this is the national blend of models. And to answer your question, the models at least are saying no. We mentioned the weekend that cooler air is coming in. Let me go back. I am so sorry. I did not show anything when I was doing the Debbie stuff. I just looked at my ugly mug talking the whole time. I know. But you can see the hottest day by far is today, right? 92. And then you've got some 80s or lower 80s. And then much of next week, 74 on Saturday, Sunday 76, upper 70s Monday, Tuesday, lower 80s Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So yeah, it is going to be a little more comfortable. We'll call it average or slightly below average. But a pretty good looking forecast. Todd, sorry, Michigan guessing. Yeah, it was a bummer. So, listen, I think it is one of those things that it was good to see a few people that came by. Unfortunately, there was a real good downpour about an hour before I got there. And they had to cancel the Friday night events, basically. And I think a lot of people just kind of stayed home because it had been wet, whatever. So, but I already talked to them next year. I'm gonna try to come up either, try to find a good night to come up, whether it be that Friday Or I know Demolition Derby night is on Saturday. That's always a pretty popular night. And we'll try to go up there and say hi to some people and stuff. But it was still fun to get up there and say hi to some people, for sure. What else do we have here, gang? And we also stream on YouTube. For those of you that may not want to watch on your phone and you like to watch on your TV, and we do these with severe weather, and I'll do it from home. So if you have YouTube, you can actually stream that live on your TV, so it frees up your phone, whatever. So yeah, check that. If you have any questions, I'll stick around here for a couple more minutes. And again, if you're new here to the Facebook Live, we've been doing this now for the last 2 weeks. This is a thing that we will do on any day, weekdays, Monday through Friday right now. Right around 8:30, between 8:30 and 9 o'clock, we'll do a Facebook Live, just kind of give an update on the forecast and then answer any of your questions that you may have, whether it pertains to our forecast or another forecast, if it pertains to maybe a hurricane out in the Gulf or the Atlantic. So happy to help out with that. So, any more heat in super long range, or are the chances? Well, again, let me go back to, stand by real quick. Let me set this back up. And I'll show you what I kind of look at, all right, when I get in deep with the forecast, especially when you're looking at longer range, all right? So I like to look at what's called the ensembles. And let me get back here. All right, so this is a website that I use. It's called WeatherBell. Fairly popular website, but I like to look at the 850 temps. And I look at the ensembles because the ensembles are a little bit different than what we look in the short term. I don't want to get too much in the weeds here because I don't want to put everybody to sleep, but a lot of times, if you follow weather people on social media, especially, I always make this example in snow season, you'll see someone that puts out a just ridiculously high snowfall map. And it says, oh, we're going to get 30 inches of snow next week. Well, the problem is with that is when you're over like 4 days out, it's really tough to kind of pinpoint things. So you want to look at trends, and we look at the ensembles. The ensembles there's just several different models that all go into one. A lot of times people are just kind of picking out the one, and they're showing you like a high number of snow. Well, the problem is there may be a model that says, or there could be several that say that we aren't going to get any snow on that one, right? So you have to kind of look at how they're all coming together and stuff like that. And part of it is taking the average. Part of it is kind of throwing how well is the model handled, all that stuff. And then I'm gonna get in the weeds, and I don't want to get too deep into this. But what I can say is this: obviously, the warmer colors indicate the warmer temperatures. So this is taking us into the end of the weekend. You definitely see the cooler pool of air, right? And that's going to take us really through the middle of next week. Now, I do think, could we warm up a little bit? I mean, let me go to the GFS here. This is going to take us a little bit farther out. Now, this is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I mean, really kind of a very stagnant weather pattern where our flow is going to be in the north and west, which doesn't really make for it can make for an active weather pattern because you're kind of on the outside of the ring of fire. You can see the hot temperatures now. So I mentioned that a lot of times our weather patterns kind of act as a seesaw, right? We've been very, very hot the last couple of days, whereas the west hasn't been that bad. Now, next week, it teeters back. And so we're going to be cooler, but now the west, look how hot it's going to be out there. So they're going to have a big heat dome. A lot of times you'll get storms that kind of go around the periphery of that. And so, just looking at this would promote maybe somewhat of an active storm track. That's a long way off. I mean, this has taken us all the way to, what's the date I'm looking at here? The 21st, all right? So, I mean, it's only August 2nd, right? Or 6th right now. So, but this long range is at least taking you all the way to the 22nd, and it doesn't have that significant heat building. So, Sammy, I haven't heard of anything about that. I'm not saying that that's not true, but I'm not familiar with that. So yeah, so I mean, essentially, again, going back to what I was showing with the, and again, I can show you some of these models. So this was the European model. Again, you could see, I mean, they all signal, a cooler trend. Now, the GFS wants to be a little more aggressive with the heat by next week, late next week into the week after. It's got some 80s and 90s. So again, when I'm showing the national blended models, it is taking an average of all of them. So, but what definitely looks to be the case is that the dew point number, which is the area in green here, all right? So all this here, that dew point number, that, all the way through Saturday, it gets up there a little bit, but there's your 60-degree line. So if you're above that, that's when the air gets a little juicy. Obviously, we're there today, tomorrow, a little bit on Thursday and Friday, but the weekend, you got some really dry air. We're below 60 degrees for the dew point temperature. It does creep back up to the 60 range by the middle of next week, but we're not in the 70s. We're like right now in the mid 70s. We're way up here. All right, compare that to where we're going to be at for the weekend. Compare where we're going to be next week. We're not going to be that high. So yeah, once we get past today is kind of the last shot of intense heat, at least in what I can tell. Is it done completely? No. We've seen some late August surges. We've certainly seen some some September surges in terms of heat. So I'm not writing off, the hot summer temperatures just yet. But, once you get through August, the days start to get numbered a little bit, because obviously September, you can have your bouts. October is a big transition month, right? When we get into October, there's chance that we can be hot in the beginning. There's chances it can snow on Halloween. We've all seen that. So, and that's only, 2.5 months away. So we're getting closer to the end in terms of the potential for heat. All right. Anybody else before we call it a day? Sammy, when the humidity drops, it is going to be amazing. It is going to be amazing. No doubt about it. Today and yesterday was rough, but yeah, it's going to be really, really nice. Thank you, Todd. I appreciate you, and I appreciate all you guys here in the chat. If you haven't already, make sure to like the page if you are not following the page, and we'll be doing this again tomorrow, shortly after 8:30 in the morning, hopefully talking about some more comfortable temperatures here for the end of the week. All right, guys, have a good Tuesday. We'll talk to you soon. God bless.